99% of hunters think they have to make a hard compromise when they head into the timber. They believe they must choose between the surgical lockup of a traditional turn bolt and the fast follow-up shots of a semi-automatic. Stop buying dirty, loud blowback rifles just because you want to shoot fast. The firearms industry has finally bridged the gap with the straight-pull Rimfire. These linear actions give you the hermetically sealed breech of a precision platform, but they cycle so fast you will swear you are running an autoloader. You think you know what a 22 LR hunting rig is supposed to feel like. You have not seen anything yet. We are breaking down the top 7 straight-pull 22 LR rifles dominating the market right now. Some of these are budget-friendly workhorses, and others are heirloom-grade masterpieces. Starting off our list at number 7 is the ISSC. This Austrian-made Rimfire is a weird one, but it earns its spot for bringing biathlon-style speed to a price bracket that normal guys can actually afford. When you run this toggle action, it does not have that glassy feel of a high-dollar rig. Instead, it snaps back with a rigid mechanical clunk, like racking a heavy-duty staple gun. Under the hood, this thing runs on a toggle-link straight-pull mechanism. Instead of lifting a bolt handle to unlock locking lugs, pulling the handle straight back breaks a jointed linkage that holds the bolt face against the breech. It is the exact same basic geometry you see in Olympic biathlon rifles. It is designed entirely to keep your eye glued to your optic while you sling 22's LR downrange. But listen, it is not all sunshine and stacked targets. We have a serious performance quirk here, and it is a deal breaker for some guys. This rifle gets notoriously picky with its ammunition. It eats high-velocity copper-plated hollow points for breakfast, but if you try to run cheap, waxy standard velocity lead through it, you will be fighting stovepipes and failures to extract all afternoon long. It tips the scales at just under 6 pounds, making it light enough to pack through the woods without breaking a sweat. The street price sits right around $500, which is a fair price for a dedicated straight pull system. It is a solid small game tool if you respect its limits and keep it clean, but we have much smoother operators coming up on this ladder. Stepping up the game, we land on a true classic for our number 6 spot. The Browning T-Bolt has been dropping squirrels since your granddaddy was in knee pants, and the modern production models are still putting in serious work in the timber. Under the hood, this rifle runs on a pure cross-bolt locking system. Instead of rotating lugs into a breech, pulling the handle straight back shifts a solid steel locking pin horizontally out of the receiver walls. It is a wildly simple linear action that gives you 0 primary extraction issues and locks up like an absolute bank vault. Working that straight bolt handle feels incredibly crisp. It rides the rails like a greased piston sliding through a glass tube. And that trigger breaks cleanly with 0 creep. Like snapping a dry icicle in half on a dead winter morning, it feeds on 22 LR all day and slings it downrange with boring consistency. The whole rig tips the scales at just under 5 pounds, making it a featherweight champion for long miles in the brush. Setting you back around $800 to take one home from the local shop, it is definitely a commitment. But here is the flaw you need to know about. The factory synthetic stock on some of these modern composite models feels terribly hollow and cheap. If you accidentally bump it against an oak tree, it rings out with a hollow plastic thud that sounds like a toy drum. It completely kills the premium vibe of an otherwise stellar piece of hardware, so I highly recommend hunting down the walnut version. Now we get serious with our number 5 spot, the Volquartsen Summit. This is a premium piece of hardware that blurs the line between a custom build and a factory production gun. Sound off below if you trust a highly tuned custom rig over a standard off-the-rack rifle. Under the hood, this platform utilizes a precision machine toggle link system that drops directly into a standard Ruger 1022 footprint. When you pull that oversized bolt handle back, the linkage collapses and extracts the brass. But when it drives forward, it locks a hardened steel bolt face directly against a custom match-grade barrel. This gives you the massive aftermarket support of a common autoloader, combined with the zero-tolerance lockup of a dedicated bench rest gun. Racking this action feels entirely different than the competition. It snaps shut with a tight, heavy thud, like closing the door on an armored transport vehicle. It slings 22 LR downrange with surgical precision, and the trigger breaks at exactly 2 pounds, with absolutely no over-travel. Depending on your chassis choice, it usually tips the scales right around 6 pounds. Look, here is the flaw you have to swallow. The damage to your wallet is absolutely savage, setting you back around $1,200 before you even look at glass. This system will drain your bank account fast. This is a spectacular piece of gear, but wait until you see the absolute monster we have waiting for you at number 1. Moving deeper into the tactical side of the spectrum, our number 4 spot belongs to the Steyr Scout RFR. This Austrian-built rig takes the classic Scout rifle concept and shrinks it down into a Rimfire survival package that looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. Under the hood, this platform is essentially running a modified biathlon action wrapped in a rigid aluminum chassis. But the real mechanical advantage here is the fully free floating cold hammer forged barrel. By completely isolating the steel barrel from the surrounding handguard, any pressure you put on the stock while resting on a barricade or tree branch will not alter barrel harmonics or shift your point of impact. When you run that oversized bolt handle, it does not glide smoothly. It snaps back with a harsh, ratcheting click, like pulling the ripcord on a heavy-duty chainsaw. The trigger pull is decent, breaking like a brittle chicken bone under a heavy boot. It spits 22 LR with brutal efficiency, making it a fantastic pest control tool to keep behind the truck seat. But we have a serious ergonomic deal breaker here. The safety selector is completely recessed and stiff as a board. It forces you to completely break your firing grip and aggressively dig your thumb in just to put the weapon on safe. It tips the scales right at 7 pounds, and the street price sits around $600. It is a rugged survivor, but we have much smoother actions climbing the ladder. Entering the elite tier, we are looking at the Anschutz 1727F. This German-engineered masterpiece is the absolute gold standard for winter biathlon competitors, but they make a sporting version that brings that extreme speed to the squirrel woods. Under the hood, we have to talk about the business end. This rig features a recessed target crown cut at exactly 11 degrees. That specific angle is critical because it protects the delicate rifling at the muzzle from being dinged on rocks or branches, while ensuring the expanding gases release perfectly evenly behind the bullet as it exits. That eliminates any projectile wobble and delivers true terminal performance. Cycling this Fortner action is an absolute religious experience. You pull it back with just 2 fingers and it glides perfectly, locking shut like a heavy bank vault door, sliding on greased ball bearings. The 2-stage match trigger is otherworldly, breaking with the crisp snap of stepping on thin sheet ice in 0-degree weather. It pushes 22 LR with absolute laser beam consistency. Honestly, there is a serious maintenance deal breaker here. This complex toggle mechanism is an absolute nightmare to field strip and clean. If you get fine grit, freezing rain, or heavy carbon fouling jammed into that precise lockup while out in the timber, tearing it down requires a clean workbench and the patience of a saint. This rig weighs in right around 7 pounds, giving it a heavy planted feel. Expect to part with over $3,000 to get this level of German precision into your gun safe. It is a true work of art, but we still have 2 heavy hitters left to cover. Closer to the crown, we are looking at the Blaser R8 Rimfire. This modular European platform is famous in the big game world, but dropping their dedicated Rimfire kit into the chassis turns it into an absolute nightmare for small game. Under the hood, this heavyweight uses a pure radial locking system. Instead of traditional lugs that twist into place, pulling the straight bolt handle back collapses a collet of steel splines. When you push it forward into battery, those splines expand outward 360 degrees into a locking groove inside the barrel extension. This gives you a massive amount of surface area for an incredibly safe, over-engineered lockup that keeps the bolt stroke perfectly linear. Running this action is an absolute trip. It snaps shut with a heavy, dead mechanical thud, like sliding a thick iron deadbolt across a solid oak door. The trigger is a masterpiece, breaking with the sharp, clean snap of a dry piece of raw pasta snapping in half. It feeds on 22 LR all day, making it a surgical training tool for the off-season. Look, there is a glaring ergonomic deal breaker you have to accept here. The proprietary magazine release requires you to pinch 2 recessed buttons on the side of the housing at the exact same time. If you are wearing thick winter gloves out in the blind, dropping that mag feels like trying to solve a puzzle with frozen fingers. This rig tips the scales right at 7 pounds, giving you the exact same balance and weight as your full-size hunting setup. The street price sits north of $4,000 if you are buying the complete rifle, making it a serious investment for serious shooters. Here is the deal. Taking the absolute #1 spot is a rare Russian legend, the Izhmash Biathlon 72KO. This is the unicorn of the rimfire world, bringing rugged military-grade engineering to the straight pull hunting game. Under the hood, this rifle runs on a massive, overbuilt toggle link system that is entirely distinct from the European designs. But the real mechanical advantage is the heavy profile, hammer-forged barrel with a specialized recessed target crown. That thick steel profile completely eliminates barrel whip during rapid strings of fire, meaning the barrel stays perfectly rigid and your group sizes never open up when the steel gets hot. This masterpiece takes the crown because it flawlessly bridges the gap between tactical durability and Olympic accuracy. You get the indestructible, weather-resistant reliability of the Steyr at #4, but it combines that with a match-grade action that puts the premium Volquartsen at #5 to absolute shame. Running this toggle action is a wild sensory experience. The bolt glides open with a heavy, deliberate sweep, like swinging a solid iron gate on greased hinges. That factory trigger is a pure tack driver, breaking with the abrupt snap of a tight guitar string popping under tension. Slinging 22 LR all day, this rig extracts spent brass with brutal ejection port clearing force. This robust piece of hardware tips the scales right around 8 pounds, making it a heavy hitter to carry through the thick timber. Tracking one down on the used market will usually set you back around $1,500, but the hunt is entirely worth it. There you have it. 7 straight pull rimfires that prove you do not have to sacrifice speed for surgical precision. Whether you are stacking limits of small game in the freezing timber or just running drills on the flat range, these linear actions deliver. Ditch the dirty blowback platforms and step up to a system that actually locks up like a bank vault. The tactical advantage of keeping your eye glued to the glass while you cycle that bolt is an absolute game changer when you need fast follow-up shots. If you want the raw truth without the fluff, lock it in right here.